avocados from Mexico. Ugh. The real secret to contouring and having nice skin is drinking water, let's be honest. Keep your avocado cup nice and handy. Hey guys, it's Lex, and today I have another makeup tutorial for you guys, and this time it's contouring 101. Now this is per request of my friend from school, Adrianna, so shout out to her. Thanks for watching the videos and letting us know what you would like to see. She really wanted to see how I highlight and contour my face, so I'm gonna break it down, hopefully do it very easy, and hopefully it's very helpful and you can start trying it yourself. Face shapes, I personally have an oval type of face, meaning that everything's pretty equal, but my jawline is smaller than my forehead, so I'm going to show you how to contour for an oval face today, but I'm going to briefly touch upon the other types of face shapes and how you can emphasize and contour and highlight with those. As always, if you want to see this look, keep on watching, but make sure you give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe down below to see more. So if you have a round face, that means your cheeks are the biggest part of your face. What you're going to want to do is really focus your contouring on your cheekbone area, so right here. And you're going to want to think you don't want to use any blush, but that's not the case. If you want to use blush, use a light shimmery blush, and that's going to give you a nice glow for your cheeks you have. So if you have an oval face like myself, your forehead's the biggest part of your face and your width is smaller than the length of your face. What you're really going to do to emphasize your face shape is contouring and using the shimmery highlighter for your top of your cheekbones and down the bridge of your nose to really emphasize and keep everything very nice and balanced, just like your face. For a square type face, you have little to minimum curvature in your chin, and so it's literally going to look like square from here, and then you're going to have your chin. Now this is when your jawline is bigger than the rest of your face. What you're going to really do to contour and emphasize your feature is you're going to really carve out your jawline by contouring here and highlighting right underneath your contour of your cheekbone to really emphasize and cut your jawline. Yeah, I believe I covered them all. If you have a heart-shaped face, then you're going to have a pointed chin and a really carved out jawline. And what you're going to want to do is be very soft because you already have very nice definition in your jaw, and you just want it to be very soft. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is using the concealer to do my highlighting. So I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape, and this is the best concealer I've tried high-end wise, and I'm going to be using the shade Light Neutral. And the rule of thumb is that you want to use 1 to 2 shades of a concealer that's lighter. So 1 to 2 shades lighter than your natural foundation that you're wearing. So I already have my foundation, already primed, already did my eyebrows. So I'm gonna go in with the concealer. Now, I put some underneath my eye, doing a little swoop. You kind of want to make little upside down triangles, like you look like the Joker, like the Harlequin, on your chin, and then on your forehead, and then right down the center of your nose. Now everyone's got different shapes of heads. Some people have bigger foreheads, some people have smaller foreheads. Now I have a smaller forehead, so I like to highlight a little bit, but if you feel like you have a bigger forehead or you don't want to draw attention to it, then I would go less on the concealer and more on the contouring. I forgot a little bit on the Cupid's bow. It's gonna make your lips look a little bit bigger. And next I'm going to be taking my beauty blender to blend everything out. Now I'm going to use the butt of it, and I'm just going to dab and press. Now these run for about 20 bucks, so they are kind of pricey, However, what I do recommend if you want a drugstore version, the Real Techniques is probably half the price, probably 3/4 less than the price, and it works great. So I'm just gonna keep blending. So immediately after I blend out my under eye, what I'm going to do is dab it out, make sure there's no creases. And I'm taking my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. Any translucent setting powder will work. And I will dab it with my beauty blender and press underneath my eyes. And this is just gonna reinforce the longevity of your highlight. And it's also going to extra double prevent that you don't get any creases. Now, if you don't have Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, I recommend the Ben Nye, especially if you have deeper skin tones. If you're tan in the summer, I like to use it. That's what Khloe uses. Or I recommend the drugstore version, which is the Coty Airspun powder. For $5, you can get the same thing, probably same amount of product, if not more. I'm then going to be taking my Lancome foundation powder, and this is in the color 315 Wheat. It's just a foundation powder. And I'm taking just this large fluffy brush and I'm applying it everywhere except for underneath my eyes. And it's just gonna set your foundation. So once that's done, I'm gonna go into my bronzer, and I'm going to be using the Becca Khloe BFF Malika palette. I'm going to be going in with the shade Bestie Bronzer, and it's a satin matte bronzer. And for bronzers, you just want to do a warm tone brown that's one shade darker than your complexion. So mine's this color right here. And I use a big fluffy brush so I can get everywhere, and I focus on cheekbones, the forehead, and the jawline. And I'm just, no rhyme or reason besides those areas, I'm just going to give a little color. And I'm using such a big brush because it's supposed to look kind of, you know, kind of flawless, you know, that you just like got this airbrush look, and using a bigger brush really helps with that. So I'm just gonna get it in those places, give a little warmth to the skin, and that's why you want to use a warm tone, because it really looks like you got some sun. So just, I would use one shade darker. Now I think this is good for if you have olive skin like me, and even if you have fair skin, this will also work for you. Just I would go a little bit with a lighter hand. So I'm just gonna apply that, and as you can see, I already have a bit more color around the cheekbones and around the jawline. So now comes the fun part, which is the contouring, and I'm going to be using the Tarte Park Avenue Princess contour palette, and I'm going to be using a Luxie 504 brush, which is an angled fluffy brush, and I'm going in with a cool tone brown. Now this will really sculpt and cut out your cheekbones and your nose once we get there. So I'm gonna go in with the color Carrot, and as you can see, this is cool, whereas this is more of a warmed, which I would use for bronzer. So I'm gonna pick up some product, and if it helps, I make fishy faces, and you only wanna bring it to your cheekbones to about here. You don't wanna bring it all the way, you just about to your eyebrow right here. And I'm just gonna take it and fishy face it. Really get into the hollows of your cheek. And then I'm gonna bring some up around, but mostly focusing it in the hollows. And the mix of those two will provide bronze, and then you can see it's cut. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Now, at this point, I'm going to put the same cool tone colored Carrot on the jawline, just lightly. And this is also gonna carve out, make you look like you have a better jawline than you do. And at this point, once you are done with this, and if you have a bigger forehead or you really want to conceal your forehead, go to town and you can go around your forehead with the contour shade. So at this point, your cheekbones are nice and contoured, but it's a little blurry down here. So what I'm going to do to try and make it a little more cut and snatched is I'm going to take my same beauty blender again with powder. You can use it with a brush, but this is just going to make it extra cut, extra snatched, extra contoured. I'm going to again dip in the powder, go right underneath and cut right where I had just applied the bronzer. So just like that. I didn't pour enough on my lid, but that's just what you're gonna do. And this is just gonna add a little bit more highlight, and it's just gonna make it extra contoured. Wow, we're gonna let the powder sit just like we have underneath our eyes, and we're gonna go to our nose now. So I'm gonna take a fluffy brush, it's a Luxie 522, and I'm gonna dust off the powder we had underneath our eye. And what I like to do is take a little bit of that foundation powder, just a smidge, and dust it off, dab and dust some off so you don't get flashback when you take pictures with a flash. It's a game changer. You don't want to be a ghost in your pictures. So I highly recommend doing that step. So we're going to contour our nose, and I'm using a small angled eyeshadow brush. Tiny eyeshadow brush works as well. And I'm going to go back in with the cool toned brown. And using the same color Carrot, and I'm just gonna dip it. Now my nose is pretty, you know, average, and I just like it to be a little more defined and a little smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna take it from my brow and bring it down just straight as I can, making a straight line, using the eyeshadow brush. Right down. And you can see it's a little dark, however that's completely okay. And just bring it down. Then from here I'm going to extend the brown out to this part of my nose, little end of it, and then the other side. And now you look like you have a dirty nose. So from here, I'm going to take the same angled brush, just dust off the product. You know, I'm pretty lazy and I like doing things very easily, so I use the same brush. I'm going to go in with a color Enhance, but you can also use your translucent setting powder, and this is the highlight powder. And I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose with this. And then do the little tip of it a little bit. And then I'm going to do on the sides where we contoured to the right next to it. So it's really just going to snatch your nose and kind of blend things out. Ooh, the light is too bright. The future is too bright. And there you go. Now it looks a little bit crazy, and that's completely okay. I'm going to take the fluffy brush again, and I'm just literally going to dust over it. And this is just going to blend it, make it look less harsh. And I just, you know, do that. And then take my beauty blender and just pounce. And this is just going to enforce the contour into your nose. And now your nose is snatched. Okay. Your powder has been sitting long enough. Taking the same fluffy brush, dusting a little bit of little zhuzh on it, and we're just gonna dust it off. And as you can see it's nice and chiseled. This is you're probably gonna see it better here. But you can see, it looks like you can see where I contoured and snatched, and it's very defined. So I'm just going to take a little bit of leftover product and put it on my forehead. Make sure everything's all nice and blended. Now if you find that you put a little more like bronzer than you anticipated, then just take your brush and just blend it. You can just blend it out. The key is if you always mess up, just blend. Blend, blend, and then blend some more, and then you still not blended enough, so blend some more. So I know I didn't really mention blush in the video, but I am going to put on some blush because I know a lot of people, like my mom, really love their blush. I'm not a huge total fan of it. I don't always put it on. I'm going to show you where you actually properly should put your blush. So again, I'm going to be using the Becca, Khloe, Malika BFF collection. And if I can open it, and you can also use an angled brush for this. I'm going to be using the color Make Me Blush, maybe? And it's this color. Now, if you have lighter skin tone, this color will probably be a little bit better than you, but this looks better on me, so I'm just going to take a little bit of it. And pretty much what you want to do is do bronzer, cheek, blush, and then highlight. So it looks like if you've ever had Neapolitan ice cream, that's what you're kind of aiming for. So get your Neapolitan ice cream on, and you want to slightly smile. And when I mean slightly smile, I mean like, that's it. That's all you got to give. Don't this, because when you rest, you're going to have blush all the way like crazily. So slightly smile and put on the apples of your cheek and go. Now this blush is very pigmented, so going with the light hand, and I'm just stippling it on. And you don't have to go too crazy, and you can see it's already got a nice pink going on. And you can see bronzer, blush, bronzer, blush. And I really can't rave enough about this palette. I'm going to put how much it goes for down in the description, but you get a bronzer, a highlighter, and 2 blushes, and I really love them. They're baked, and they really give just a really nice, flawless finish. So for my final step, I'm going to be using highlighter. Now this is the sparkly stuff, not the white powder underneath, if you know what I'm saying. I'm going to be using the color Snow Angel from Kylie, and I really love this highlighter. It's from her holiday collection, and it's so pretty. I'm just going to take it with my Morphe Y10. You can use your fingers. You don't need a highlighting brush. And I'm going to go Cupid's bow. Oh, look at that. And I'm going to do cheekbones, try and go out of the camera a bit, and you can look at that. Come on, that is blinding. Cheekbones and a little up. Do the same thing on the other side, and you can see a little bit goes a long way. And you can see the highlighter, the blush, and the bronzer. Then from here, if you want a little extra, you can do the temples right here and here, just a little bit. Take my finger, go down the bridge of my nose, and again, it's going to really cinch it in. And then if you're wearing just mascara, which I'm just going to do now, is I take a little bit again and put it on my inner corner. And then I will take a small little tilted, slanted eyebrow brush, eyeliner brush, and I'll go right underneath the highest part of my brow bone, and you're all highlighted up. Then just to finish it off, I'm going to take my wet end of my beauty blender, and I'm just going to pounce my whole face. And this is going to reduce the powderiness. If you feel like you've ever been cakey when you do this, it's just going to reduce it and just blend all the powders together, especially all the contour, and it's going to look a little less harsh, less dramatic, and nice and blended for you. Alright guys, this is the finished
product, and I hope you enjoyed and learned how I contour and highlight my face.
Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope it was helpful and you really learned something from how I highlight and contour my face. It's not as scary as you'd actually think, but again, this is just how I contour my face. Everyone has different face shapes and does it differently. And I know Khloe's gonna be uploading how she contours and highlights her face, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But again, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and let us know what you would like to see next.